They thought they were unstoppable. They thought they were the ultimate predators. The Cardassians were wrong, dead wrong. In the far reaches of the Triangulum Galaxy, the reptilian Cardassians had long reigned supreme. They conquered world after world, enslaving and slaughtering billions. Led by the iron-fisted Emperor Tyro from his throne on Cardassia Prime, they were the undisputed apex predators of the stars. Their advanced weapons, brutal tactics, and utter ruthlessness made them feared across 100 star systems. But while the Cardassians subjugated aliens across their galaxy, humanity had been quietly rising in a remote corner of the Milky Way. Unbeknownst to the Cardassians or any other alien race, human technology had advanced by leaps and bounds. Human space fleets trained relentlessly, honing their combat skills in intense simulations, preparing for the day they might encounter another civilization among the stars. That fateful first contact came when a Cardassian scouting party stumbled upon a small human mining outpost on the fringes of Cardassian space. The arrogant reptilians saw the humans as primitives beneath their concern. In an act of unprovoked brutality, they slaughtered the defenseless human miners. When news of the attack reached Earth, a righteous fury ignited across the human worlds. The United Earth government, helmed by fiery President Jason Brown, vowed swift and total retribution. Humanity would avenge its fallen. This act of Cardassian aggression would not go unanswered. As the Cardassian war machine prepared to conquer the fledgling human civilization, they had no idea that humanity was already preparing a devastating counterstrike. President Brown rallied Earth's most advanced warships, armed to the teeth with weapons the Cardassians couldn't even imagine. Thousands upon thousands of Earth's bravest men and women volunteered for the monumental task of striking at the heart of the Cardassian Empire itself. For the very survival of humanity hung in the balance. The Cardassians had to be stopped, here and now, before they could bring their full might to bear on the human heartland. In their arrogance, the Cardassians had dismissed the humans as weak primitives, unworthy of concern. That would prove to be their downfall. The Cardassians, in all their hubris, had no idea what humanity was truly capable of. They were about to learn that underestimating humans was the last mistake a species ever made. The reptilian monsters were about to face a species even more terrifying than themselves. Humanity was pissed. The United Earth Fleet streaked through the void, a gleaming armada of humanity's most advanced warships. At the helm of the flagship, the UES Retribution, Admiral James Thompson stood tall, his steely eyes fixed on the monitor. The bridge crew worked with focused intensity, their fingers flying over consoles, relaying orders and status updates. In the bowels of each human ship, powerful new fusion reactors thrummed with barely contained energy. Sleek missile pods bristled along the hulls, ready to unleash swarms of smart ordnance at a moment's notice. The crown jewel of Earth's scientific genius, the quantum phase cannons, glowed an ethereal blue in their recessed turrets, primed to tear through the toughest Cardassian armor with minimal resistance. As the fleet hurtled toward Cardassian space, Emperor Tyro lounged on his obsidian throne on Cardassia Prime, his serpentine eyes glinting with malice. A trembling scout approached, head bowed in deference. "Your Eminence, the human ships approach. They appear to be headed straight for the heart of our empire." Tyro let out a hissing laugh, his forked tongue flicking contemptuously. "Let them come. We shall swat these primitives like the insects they are. Summon the fleet. I want every last human ship reduced to molten slag." In the cold expanse between stars, the two fleets clashed in a titanic conflagration of fire and metal. Admiral Thompson's voice boomed across the human comm channels. "All ships, engage at will. Show these reptilian bastards what human ingenuity can do." The Cardassians surged forward, their angular warships spitting streams of searing plasma. But the human vessels danced nimbly amid the onslaught, their advanced shielding shrugging off hits that would have crippled any other race's ships. Thompson's eyes narrowed as he studied the tactical display, exploiting gaps in the Cardassian formation with devastating effect. Lances of shimmering quantum energy erupted from the human fleet, slicing through Cardassian shields like a scalpel. The reptilian ships shuddered and crumpled, atmosphere and debris venting from gaping wounds. Wave after wave of human missiles streaked forth, each one guided by its own cunning AI, burrowing deep into Cardassian hulls before detonating with cataclysmic force. On the bridge of his burning dreadnought, a Cardassian captain hissed in disbelief as his ship shook itself apart around him. How can this be? We are the apex predators. These humans are nothing. But as the Cardassian fleet crumbled under the relentless human assault, the truth became inescapable. The hunters had become the hunted. Back on Earth, President Jason Brown watched the live feed from the front lines, his heart swelling with fierce pride. Across the human worlds, crowds gathered in public squares and around vidscreens, cheering each Cardassian ship that vanished in a plume of shattered metal. In the halls of power, the mood was one of unbreakable spirit mixed with burgeoning hope. The first blow had been struck, and struck hard. But on Cardassia Prime, Emperor Tyro seethed with apoplectic rage as the reports of his fleet's decimation poured in. "Unacceptable!" he roared, slamming a clawed fist onto the arm of his throne. "I will not be humiliated by these hairless apes." His most trusted general, Malak, bowed his head respectfully. "Your Eminence, I urge caution. These humans are not to be underestimated. We must gather our strength, study this new foe, and strike back with cunning and—" "Silence!" Tyro snapped, his eyes blazing with fury. "I will have none of your cowardly mewling, Malak. You will marshal every ship in the Empire, every soldier under our banner. And you will grind these humans to dust beneath your heel. Fail me, and your hide will adorn my chamber walls." Malak swallowed hard, knowing the fate of the Cardassian race now rested on his shoulders. As he strode from the throne room to prepare his counterattack, he couldn't shake the sense that the humans had just awoken a slumbering monster. And that monster was humanity itself. Amid the drifting wreckage of once proud Cardassian battleships, Admiral Thompson took stock of his battered but victorious fleet. The humans had drawn first blood, but he knew in his bones that the war was only beginning. The Cardassians would come at them again, with renewed fury and every weapon in their arsenal. Thompson vowed that he would meet them head-on, with all the courage and tenacity. Here, no matter the consequences, the Admiral planned to halt the Cardassian advance and blunt Tyro's ambitions. Admiral Thompson's eyes scanned the tactical display, his fleet now positioned near a dense asteroid field. The craggy rocks floated silently, offering both cover and danger. He turned to his chief science officer. "Status on those hull upgrades?" "Complete, sir. The new nanocomposite plating should disperse Cardassian energy weapons more effectively, and our point defense grid is online." Thompson nodded. "Good. We'll need every advantage." Alerts blared as sensors detected the approaching Cardassian armada. Thompson's voice rang out across the fleet comms. "All ships, execute Plan Chimera. Fighters, launch on my mark." The human fleet drifted into the asteroid field, appearing to seek shelter. General Malak's booming voice echoed through Cardassian ships. "The cowards hide! Pursue and destroy them!" As Cardassian vessels lumbered into the field, Thompson barked, "Mark!" Swarms of nimble human fighters erupted from concealed hangars in the larger asteroids. They darted between rocks, peppering Cardassian ships with precise strikes. Cardassian shields flickered and failed under the unexpected assault. On his flagship's bridge, Malak snarled, "Enough of these games! Obliterate them!" A tsunami of Cardassian missiles and energy beams surged toward the human fleet. Thompson's tactical officer called out, "Incoming fire! Massive salvo!" "Target their missile clusters. Fire quantum torpedoes, full spread." Human ships unleashed precise barrages, detonating swathes of Cardassian ordnance mid-flight. Point defense lasers picked off survivors, filling space with explosions. Malak smacked his palm on his command chair. "Close to knife-fighting range. We'll crush them ourselves." Cardassian dreadnoughts advanced, trading vicious broadsides with human vessels. Thompson allowed his fleet to give ground, letting the Cardassians press their attack. "Now, pincer formation," Thompson ordered. Hidden squadrons of human ships emerged from asteroid cover, catching the Cardassians in devastating crossfires. Beams of coherent energy sliced through hulls as missiles found their marks with unerring precision. On Cardassia Prime, Emperor Tyro watched in mounting horror as his prized warships were torn apart on the tactical hollow. "Malak, you incompetent fool!" he raged. "How could you let this happen?" Malak's hologram flickered as he turned to face his emperor. "Perhaps if you hadn't underestimated them so grievously." "Silence!" Tyro hissed. "I want no excuses, only results." "My lord," another general interrupted, "we're detecting new warp signatures. A second human fleet approaches from an unexpected vector." Tyro's eyes widened in shock as the holo updated, showing Admiral McGregor's ships striking deep into Cardassian territory. Shipyards erupted in flames as human vessels rained destruction across multiple star systems. Malak's voice was grim. "We left ourselves exposed, chasing glory instead of protecting our own space. These humans are more cunning than we imagined." As the inferno of battle subsided around Thompson's victorious fleet, he knew the war was not nearly finished. But humanity had proven itself a force to be reckoned with. The real test was yet to come. As Thompson pondered their next move, alarms blared across the bridge of the UES Retribution. "Sir, we're detecting multiple warp signatures approaching fast," his tactical officer shouted. "It's not Cardassian. The energy patterns are unlike anything we've seen before." Thompson's eyes narrowed as he studied the tactical display. A swarm of sleek, predatory ships emerged from warp, their hulls gleaming with a metallic sheen that seemed to absorb sensor scans. "Open a channel," Thompson ordered. But before his communications officer could comply, the enemy fleet opened fire. Lances of sickly green energy slammed into the human ships, punching through their shields with terrifying ease. Thompson gripped his command chair as the Retribution shuddered under the assault. "Evasive maneuvers. All ships, return fire." The human fleet scattered, desperately trying to avoid the relentless barrage. But these new Cardassian ships moved with inhuman precision, anticipating every dodge and weave. On the bridge of the lead Jem'Hadar vessel, Commander Ikatika sneered at the human attempts to escape. "For the glory of Cardassia," he growled, "ram them." Without hesitation, Jem'Hadar ships accelerated to suicidal speeds, smashing through human shields and tearing gaping holes in their hulls. As explosions bloomed across space, swarms of boarding pods launched from the Jem'Hadar vessels. Aboard the UES Defiant, Captain Sarah Chen and her crew fought desperately to repel the invaders. The ship's corridors echoed with the sounds of gunfire and screams as the Jem'Hadar super soldiers tore through the human defenders. "Fall back to Bulkhead 7, Chen shouted, firing her plasma rifle at the advancing Jem'Hadar. But it was like fighting a force of nature. The genetically enhanced warriors shrugged off wounds that would have felled any normal soldier, their faces devoid of fear or mercy as they butchered the human crew. Admiral McGregor watched in horror from his flagship as ship after ship fell to the Jem'Hadar onslaught. "This is Admiral McGregor to all ships," he broadcast. "Full retreat. I repeat, full retreat. We can't win this fight." As the battered remnants of the human fleet limped away, Ikatika's cold eyes gleamed with satisfaction. "Pursue and destroy," he ordered. "Leave no survivors." The Jem'Hadar ships surged forward, hungry for more killing. But Ikatika held back, turning his attention to the nearby human colonies. "Now," he hissed, "we will show these primitives the true meaning of war." On Earth, President Brown's face was ashen as he received the reports of McGregor's defeat. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "We were winning." His advisors shuffled nervously until one spoke up. "Mr. President, it appears the Cardassians have deployed some kind of super soldiers. Early reports suggest they're genetically enhanced and fanatically loyal. They don't feel fear, sir. They don't stop. They just keep coming until everything in their path is dead." Brown's fists clenched as he processed this grim news. But before he could respond, another aide burst into the room. "Mr. President, we're receiving distress calls from our outer colonies. They're under attack." The room fell silent as they watched the holographic display. One by one, human outposts winked out of existence, overwhelmed by the Jem'Hadar's ruthless assault. Thousands of light years away, Admiral Thompson paced the bridge of the Retribution, his mind racing. They had come so close to victory, only to be blindsided by this new Cardassian weapon. But as reports of the Jem'Hadar atrocities poured in, Thompson's expression hardened with purpose. "We need to know everything about these Jem'Hadar," he growled. "Strengths, weaknesses, anything we can exploit. And I want our science teams working around the clock. There has to be a way to stop these bastards." As his crew scrambled to carry out his orders, Thompson's gaze fixed on the stars outside. The Cardassians had changed the rules of engagement. Now it was time for humanity to adapt or perish. Admiral Thompson's eyes scanned the tactical display as the remnants of the human fleet assembled in high orbit above Cardassia Prime. The Jem'Hadar threat had been neutralized, but at a terrible cost. Now the final push loomed before them. "All ships, this is Admiral Thompson. Commence Operation Downfall." Plasma torpedoes and energy beams lanced from human warships, hammering Cardassian orbital defenses. As explosions blossomed across the planet's defensive grid, Thompson turned to his Marine commander. "Colonel, you're clear to drop." Hundreds of dropships detached from their carriers, plummeting through the atmosphere in tight formation. Anti-aircraft fire erupted from the surface, filling the sky with deadly flak. Marine pilot Sarah Chen gritted her teeth as her dropship bucked and shuddered. "Hang on back there," she shouted to her passengers. "This is going to get rough." A nearby dropship vanished in a fireball. Chen's stomach lurched as she threw her craft into a wild corkscrew, narrowly avoiding another barrage. With a bone-jarring impact, the dropship slammed onto Cardassian soil. "Go, go, go!" Chen yelled as her Marines poured out the rear hatch. Armored vehicles rumbled from the bellies of larger landers, their engines roaring as they pushed into the outskirts of the Cardassian capital. The air filled with the chatter of small arms fire and the thunder of heavy weapons. Private Jack Reynolds crouched behind a shattered wall, plasma rounds sizzling overhead. His squad leader's voice crackled over the comm. "Second floor, northeast corner, sniper." Reynolds popped up, his rifle barking. The Cardassian sniper tumbled from his perch, but for every enemy they cut down, it seemed two more took their place. Inside the presidential palace, Emperor Tyro paced maniacally, his scales dull and his eyes wild. An aide approached cautiously. "Your Eminence, perhaps we should consider—" Tyro's disruptor flashed, leaving a smoking corpse on the floor. "I will not surrender to vermin," Tyro shrieked. "Cardassia is eternal." The building shook as human forces drew ever closer. In a bunker deep beneath the palace, Tyro's claws danced over a control panel. Warning klaxons blared as antimatter containment fields began to destabilize. On the streets above, human and Cardassian soldiers alike looked to the sky as day turned to night. An artificial sun bloomed, brighter than 1,000 novas. In an instant, the capital ceased to exist. Hours later, Admiral Thompson stood at the edge of a massive crater, his radiation suit's Geiger counter clicking furiously. The devastation stretched beyond the horizon, a barren, glassy wasteland where a thriving civilization had stood mere hours before. His comm unit crackled. "Admiral, we're receiving surrender transmissions from all remaining Cardassian forces." Thompson nodded, his voice hollow. "Acknowledged." He stared out at the ruined landscape, his thoughts on the millions, human and Cardassian alike, who had perished in this senseless conflict. They had won the war, but at what cost?
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.